getting ready to go live, but I got a story to tell you. Maybe with a little bit of a moral. 2 minutes ago to a showtime. Ready to go? Good morning, YouTube and Lock and Load Ninjas. My morning ritual, getting up and just taking in some air. I've done this every day since I got out of the hospital. Although lately with this fire burning about an hour away at the in the mountains, that morning breath of fresh air has been sort of choky. But I wanted to talk about something else that has happened recently that is just worth noting because of what it did for me, how it changed things about me, and the direction that I'm taking this show, this channel. I started the YouTube channel to go along with the show because when you're talking about guns and technique and training and all this other stuff, it's one thing to talk about it, it's quite another thing to show it or to be able to show it. So I started it for that reason. But I didn't really do that much with it because, this is what I do for a living. And I didn't really feel that much of a compulsion to get into it. Then in January of 2015, I had the heart attack. Now for me, the heart attack was a life-changing event because it brought home a lot of bad habits. They came home to roost. And I had to make a call. But first I had to get over the heart attack. So I got out of the hospital in January 21st, 2015. Somewhere in that first quarter, because I was still taking some medication and some other things, so I'm not really sure what date or anything. I discovered on YouTube because, one, when you're recovering from a heart attack, getting over the open heart surgery is much worse than the actual heart attack itself because of what they do, which essentially they're sawing you down the middle, pulling you apart, putting you back together, putting it all back together. You can't pick up a gallon of milk with two hands for about the first 60 days. It's a very dangerous time to be recovering at that particular point. So I had time to think about a lot of things, and one of the things I thought about was the YouTube channel. Now, what am I going to do with the YouTube channel? I know personally people like Hickok 45, Tim Harmson at the Military Arms Channel, Don Porter 600. These guys, I could do what they do, but they're doing it already, and they're doing it first, and they're doing it as good as anybody could possibly do it. I don't have a crew, so I can't do something like, say, VSO Gun Channel. So what was I going to do? And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I have some very unique sponsors like Agency Arms and Primary Weapon Systems. Not everybody has even heard of some of these players, and they make these superb products, but what was I going to do? How was I going to present this? So, then, I'm recovering from the heart attack. And on YouTube, I discovered this one channel, quite by accident, Casey Niestat, the vlog. Now, he'd been around for a while, I guess. I guess for like 5 years prior to that, but primarily his thing was filmmaking. But what he did was he came in, and one of the things that I like about his style was he took a bunch of elements that I'm sure lots and lots of people have used in the past, and he put a little bit of a swagger to it. And then he sort of made it, adding that swagger to it makes it sort of cool. I don't think, and to a certain degree, that gives him ownership. That makes it his style. But I've always thought that his style was sort of like that, that scene in Apollo 13 where they're dumping all the contents out and saying, we got to make this square peg fit into this round hole.
We got to find a way to make this.
I've always thought of that as his style, taking something and shaping it to his purpose. So to that end, like wearing sunglasses, the reason I wear sunglasses is it's a good thing because like doing a radio show, I'm constantly having to change my focus. I have 1, 2, 3 screens going on at one time. Because I'm in the world of radio land, I don't have to worry too much about where my eyes are. But on video, it's always right here where you want to be looking. The problem is that nowadays, with the new innovation of cameras, like on this lovely Canon 80D here, I have this pop-out screen just right over here off to the side. So I'm constantly checking to make sure I'm in focus and everything else. And Niestat understood that. And I'm not going to get out there and do things like personalize my sunglasses, because every time I like Oakleys. So every time Oakley has a good pair of sunglasses that I like, they inevitably quit making them. So from the time that I discovered him to this past weekend, I've always had my dose of Niestat. And now that's done. He has quit his vlog.
It's not clickbait. I really am ending the vlog.
And if you look back at his history, it's not that he quit, it's that he's moved on and he's constantly evolving, and that's cool. Although one thing I do want to say, and I say this with all respect to anyone out there. He took a lot of flack last month over coming out and making the "I'm voting for Hillary Clinton" vlog. And he took a lot of flack for a lot of the points that he made and a lot of the other stuff and everything else. And I simply say this to any of you, and I'm 55 years old, okay? And I do this for a living. I swim in the seas of politics. Politics is a dirty profession. And heretofore, up to a certain point, it has always been a profession where certain things have been maintained, certain status quos and everything else. And at the end of the day, it's all based upon this illusion. Getting out there and getting invested, emotionally getting invested in politics, is going to lead to your heartbreaking. You should never do that. Never be so invested in one candidate, in one policy, in any one thing, because life, like everything else, just like it is constantly in movement, it's constantly fluid, it's constantly going to change. So, if that was one of the things, if you got so much blowback that he walked away from that, all of you should understand that politics is a very dirty profession. It's filled with narcissists. Every one of them have egos out to here. And they believe they have the answer. They are the way. And anybody coming up to you saying that they are the way, run. Run from them, because there's never going to be just one way or the way. There's always going to be adaptations that you have to make. I want to say thanks. I want to say thanks to Casey Niestat. The guys that I mentioned earlier, the gun reviewing legends that are out there on YouTube today, I'm never going to be them. I am never going to be them. But I can be me. And I can sort of present it my way. And we'll see how that works. And in any event, I look forward to whatever young Mr. Niestat comes up with again. I think he is a marvelous creative talent. And I hope he continues to put out content and everything else. I'm going to miss the vlog, but the thing I liked about the vlog was it gave me a moment of escape. Because like I said, I swim. I'm constantly swimming in politics. And politics, the way it's practiced here, well, the way it's practiced by mankind sucks. Better to spend your life doing the other things that he does, doing the things that you do, looking out for your family, looking out for your health, looking out for your life. That's what you got. Take it and run with it and have a good time with it, because it is short. Find the show at GCN Live. Find it at ammoland.com. Find it at lockandloadradio.com on podcasts. You want it in a radio market near you? Go to Genesis Communications Network. You'll find listed in there in their contact, you'll find one young Adam Miller. He is the man. He'll make it happen. This is not about a political message today. This is just a heartfelt thanks. That was part of my recovery. Sorry to see it go, but I was glad to watch it while it happened.